Hello and welcome to Colonel's Video Tutorials. I'm Colonel Panic, and in this video we're going to give you a basic overview of perks and weapons in Killing Floor. This video is part of a series of videos on Killing Floor. You can find more videos along with a written format guide and links to my servers and map downloads at skycommand.org/killingfloor. You can find the link in the description. If you want more personally directed help with things, feel free to visit my whitelist server available through that link. I do occasionally set mutators and help people level up their perks upon request. Now back on topic, let's talk about different perks and weapons in Killing Floor. Killing Floor is primarily a team-based game, so you want to have a team that complements each other. You have different perks, which are basically the strengths and weaknesses of each individual class, if you will, of player in Killing Floor. There are several different perks to choose from. I'm just going to go here and show you some of these perks. Start up a game here. Alright, as you can see here, there are 7 different types of perks. So I'm just going to kind of go down the list and give you some of the strengths and weaknesses of each and explain how they're going to complement each other. And kind of like I said, you need to have a team that complements each other. If you find that your team is lacking a specific perk, say for example, you join a game, they don't have a sharpshooter. Maybe it's a good idea to go as sharpshooter so you can provide them and kind of fill that hole that they're lacking. Okay. One of the important things is communication with that team. So depending on what perk you are, you're going to need to be able to communicate with your team in order that you can provide them with your different strengths and they can provide you with theirs. So I'm going to start out here with Sharpshooter as the first one. Sharpshooter has a special advantage with precision weapons, and ironically those precision weapons are going to be your 9mm pistol, which you start out with, hand cannon, rifle, crossbow, and M14. Basically, all of these weapons you're going to have additional headshot damage, additional ability to gain headshots with that sharpshooter perk. You're going to have a little bit more of a steady hand, I guess, with them, less recoil. Ultimately, what you're going to go after as a sharpshooter is the high-value targets. You're responsible for killing flesh pounds, husks, scrakes, things like that. Take them out at a distance before they become a threat to your team. You get extra damage. Not so much in terms of DPS unless you're using the M14, but that extra one-shot damage, aim for the head, it gives you an edge in targeting individual targets. So that's your sharpshooter perk. Next here we have your support specialist. You have extra damage with shotguns, extra damage with the Law rocket launcher. You have more grenades, additional grenade capacity, additional carry weight capacity. You can carry more weapons. It is, for that reason, kind of a multi-classing perk. If you can carry more weapons, you can kind of diversify a little bit more. The main purpose of the support specialist is going to be close to medium range support. You're there as crowd control. You can weld doors, direct Z traffic, I guess, block doorways and things like that with your shotgun, giving that extra penetration damage, putting it to good use to cut down on large numbers of small Zeds up close. Next we're going to have our Commando. Commando is also good for targeting smaller Zeds, but instead of targeting them in large groups, which you are going to be good at as a Commando, is engaging them individually. You have that rapid fire weapons, you have the L22 Enfield rifle, which is the bullpup, you're going to have the AK-47, you're going to have the SCAR battle rifle, and all of those weapons have a high rate of fire, reasonably high damage, to the point where 1 or 2 bullets will put down a weaker Zed no matter where you hit it. And you can turn quickly and engage multiple targets at once. So it's a very good close support, good for wiping smaller Zeds off the backs of your teammates and stuff like that. It's not so great at targeting really tough Zeds because your weapon isn't really designed for that. You're designed to spread the damage around quickly. Next up, it's also another thing about Commando is that you are going to be the logistics class. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to communicate with your team. You can see cloaked units. You have a very high level of situational awareness on the battlefield. So you need to be able to communicate things with your team. So being aware of what's going on, where Zeds are coming from, cloaked units, you can help them track down the Patriarch. You can warn them about stalkers that are incoming, although as a Commando you probably want to be taking out the stalkers yourself. Okay. Next up we have Demolitions. Demolitions is similar to support, only instead of close to medium range crowd control, it's going to be long range crowd control. You're going to have things like your M79 and M32 grenade launchers. You can take out large groups of enemies at a long range, although you want to be careful at closer ranges so that you don't hurt yourself or your teammates in the splash damage. You also have carry a large number of pipe bombs, which are very good against tougher enemies or larger groups of enemies that are closing in on your position. So work together with a support specialist. A support specialist can, for example, weld a door shut, you drop a pipe behind the door, and then when the door comes down, the pipe goes off, takes out a huge group of Zeds. It's very advantageous to your team if you can do things like that to cover behind you and help to provide kind of that awareness of where the Zeds are going to be coming from and work on that crowd control together. Okay. Next up, we're going to have Firebug. Firebug is another crowd control class, but it's again at just the medium range mostly. It's basically best for lighting and burning. So you throw a little bit of flames here and there. You start the Zeds burning. It weakens them, allows your other classes to take them out more easily. I don't really recommend using Firebug too much on larger, heavier targets because they kind of have a natural resistance to fire. You're not going to do enough damage quick enough, and it may just enrage those targets, make them harder to hit for your other classes. But it's very great for weaker targets or for kind of weakening, softening up certain targets so that the rest of your team can take them out. Next up we have Berserker. Berserker is kind of your tank class. You have extra health, damage resistance, rather than health actually. You have additional speed when you're carrying a melee weapon. You have additional speed of attack with the melee weapon, and you have additional damage with the melee weapon. So Berserker, main thing is that you are there to intercept some of the tougher enemies before they can get to your squad. What you want to do is concentrate your fire on things like Skrakes. As a Berserker, you have a natural advantage against things like Skrakes, Gorefasts, Clots, Husks, allowing you to move fast, take them out before they become a threat to your team. You can body block quite easily, and that's part of your job, is you're going to absorb damage for your team, body blocking against other enemies. All of the weapons that you're going to have at your disposal are going to be melee weapons. You have machete, fire axe, chainsaw, katana, and a knife, basically. Next up and last, I believe we have the Medic. Medic is purely an intuition class. What you're going to be doing as a Medic is supporting the rest of your team. You're not going to concentrate much on taking out other Zeds, although in certain cases you may want to play sort of a supportive role at times. But you're going to be using that MP7M Medic gun. You have an enormous discount on that. You have an increase in ammo on that and rate of fire on that, I believe. You have improved body armor, very cheap body armor, so again, kind of like the Berserker, you can act as a human shield sometimes against Zeds, and your main goal is to stick in the middle of your group, know where people are, and to provide healing to them when they are damaged. So that's our basic overview of classes and perks. Next tutorial is going to go over each of the perks individually, different tactics and leveling tactics for each of the perks. And we'll talk a little bit more of the perk weapons in each of those tutorials. Again, website is skycommand.org/killingfloor to access these tutorials, map downloads, additional information, and server information if you want help. Hope this was helpful, and have a great day.